It's a new year. It's a new day. It's 2023. Woohoo!
It is the Jordan year. Number 23, 2023. See, I'm shouting at the man that started it and ruled 90s sports because we love the 90s.
We sure do. Oh my gosh. And in Congress it's 1923, Michael. What the game who can't govern.
Once, twice, three times is voted down. I mean, so they can't pick a Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So quick
Val,
question.
do you want to be Speaker of the House?
Um
There's an opening.
I I honestly have better things to do, Michael. I like I want to pray for Damar Hanlon's and his family.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
and I'm praying for his family, and I'm also praying for those people that are trying to profit off of his tragedy. A lot of negative stuff has been said on Twitter about him, about football in general, and I don't have no time for it.
No,
All love and support for him and his family.
exactly, but we definitely got time for this. Let's go.
Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Man, that's my favorite music.
I
That is my favorite
know.
song. I miss that song.
Oh my
It was a
god. Yeah,
beautiful holiday. It was a great holiday.
it was it
Um,
was
you
it was a
know,
it was a great holiday, and we want to let you guys know that Interludes is streaming every Tuesday, well, starting now because we took a little bit of a hiatus. We're here on our YouTube
yeah.
channel, our
I,
Facebook
I ate
private
high
group
and
fan
everything.
base, LinkedIn under Pure Lighthouse Media, and we're available on Pod TV, Roku channel. I'm excited to announce this. Give me a drum roll if you can, please. This weekend, finally, we're starting Find Your Voice. Please don't go away. Find Your Voice, a podcasting course for beginners. Your host, that's me, Valor Voice, will be teaching this every Saturday in January from 10 a.m. to 11:30
So
a.m.
that begins January the 7th and also continues January the 14th.
Exactly, exactly. So, guys, get your tickets. We'll have Mr. Springer put it in the chat. There you go. I
Is
don't know
he
why.
here?
I think Mr. Springer is here. Yes, he is.
So he's with
Everyone.
us. So he doesn't want to be Speaker of the House either, huh? So
No, he
somebody
doesn't.
from Brooklyn could
I
be.
I know, but
Shout out that.
let's go ahead and say hello to everyone. Hello, Mr. Springer. Mark.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Mark Lee returns in 2023. The
he's
long awaited
he's
return.
He's back. And then a voice you'll be
He's
hearing on the
back.
audio podcast is Mr. Phil Fox, the real American. Thank you so
Yeah,
very
yeah,
much.
yeah. Beautiful and wonderful. Phil got those connections too. With the
Hmm.
events yesterday, Phil was sending out some information that's like that hasn't hit my TV or anything yet. Okay. But
Say
Phil
hello
knew.
to say
Hmm.
hello to Wise. Hello. Thank you so very much giving us love all the way from North Carolina and then all the way from
North
Texas. Delena's
Kakalaka.
here. Delena's here. What's up, Ghoul? I
Hello,
appreciate you.
everyone. Speaking of that, before we go in, hey,
Do you
I
hear?
thought it wouldn't be a speaker. A speaker for what? I mean, I'll take you on any. You fly me in, I'm good. I can represent. I can clean up.
Of
I
course, of
promise.
course, of course. And thank you so much for the compliment. Amazing coaching for podcasters. That's right. That is what's happening. I think is Tracy here? Yes. Hello,
Yeah, yeah. Tracy
Tracy.
was here. Tracy's
Hey,
here.
Tracy. How you doing, girl? We saying hello to you,
We
girl.
saying hello to you, just like you. We say hello every time people play that wonderful song and that music video from Tracy, right?
Exactly.
Starring Val the voice.
Oh my gosh. And of course, we always ask you guys go ahead and hit the like button and please share it. If you're enjoying yourself here, share the love. We definitely want to do
Yeah,
it definitely in 2023. We
yeah.
want to definitely hit the like and share the love. But welcome,
Yeah,
welcome, welcome.
yeah, we've seen a lot of people sharing love throughout the country and
Hmm.
even throughout the world. People have been sharing a lot of love. I mean, collectively we started this new year off, and for some of us who were watching TV last night, we got to see something, that was quite disturbing. And, really, I think the response is what's been amazing. And
Hmm.
I guess we gotta start there, huh?
Yeah. I was really shocked. I was getting some of this news from yesterday, and we definitely want to start out tonight by adding prayers for Buffalo Bills player
Some
and
prayers.
safety Damar Hamlin, who remains hospitalized after suffering a cardiac arrest. And during this was the Monday Night Football. This is Week 16 for the NFL, and he is in critical condition there in Cincinnati because he was playing against the Bengals. And only a few minutes into the game, I think in the first quarter, Hamlin made what looked like it was going to be a routine tackle, stood up, and then suddenly collapsed for hours. No one knew exactly what they had just seen. And the most important thing, of course, is that this young man is alive. And that's where we begin, Michael.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. There's so many things can be said, and probably will be said in the weeks and months to come. But Damar Hamlin, and there he is, sixth round draft pick, living out his dream. Kid from Pittsburgh, has friends in the NFL beyond the Buffalo Bills. Certainly doing some wonderful things. And there he is, as the last reports, the most current information tells us, his heartbeat, according to the NFL and those involved, his heartbeat stopped and was restored on the
Mhm.
field, there in Cincinnati. He was taken to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, where he remains in critical condition. He's under observation, so it should be noted that it's not as though, I mean, some of this is medically, this is how they're keeping him. Um, each NFL city, some things that some people probably don't know who are outside of the league.
Right.
Most of us have never played. I mean, if we had that insight tonight, that would be amazing. Somebody that
Hmm.
actually played in the NFL knows this better than we do. But
Right.
for now, each NFL city also has a level one trauma center, which
Wow.
means that in essence, and I'll keep it short because we'll have better information later on. That means that if this were to happen anywhere else, if he were to have gone through this event in any other place, space, or time, he may not still be with us. He was in essence, you got to kind of bend your mind to kind of understand it, but
Okay.
he probably was in the perfect place in terms of saving his life. The NFL does so much and has so much background and levels there to protect people. At least they do now.
Hmm.
And so he was taken to the trauma center. It was less than 10 minutes away. They restored his heart there on the field. It turns out, and according to CNN and what his uncle told CNN just less than an hour ago, that he had
Right.
to be resuscitated twice in the
Wow.
time that this has happened. So that's kind of breaking news on that. But he is there. He is being monitored. There are sort of tests that have to be done. But for instance, Val, if you and I were in a car driving some or outside at home and
Hmm.
we experience one of these cardiac events, I mean, it might we may not be, the fact that he was there and had all of those peoples and all the level that they have. That certainly we're praying for it tomorrow, Jimmy. Certainly, it may have saved his life, at least for
Very
now.
much so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
very much
there is
so.
there is that part of it. I mean, it's so certainly easy to kind of just jump in and be sort of reactionary. But that's not our role here at Interludes Extra Taco Tuesday. We're trying to give you like that's really good information and kind of a different perspective than you're going to hear in other places.
Yeah, there
Val,
were
did
there
you
were a
get to
couple.
see it? Did you get to? Were you watching the game at all?
I
And I'm
I
kind of
was
calling you out on that.
I was not watching the game. What was
Okay.
happening is that I was kind of multitasking because there were
Yeah.
other games that were happening, and things were coming up, and I was literally just kind of taking notes. And so I kind of looked in on the game, looked at the very beginning, and then I channeled off and did some other stuff, and then I started to get these tweets and news reports, and I was
Mm,
going, okay, what in the world happened? And it's reminding me, it's just, I know that ultimately this is someone's son. Ultimately, he's 24 years old, Michael. And
right.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I didn't realize that every major city has this trauma center. So they were able to get him off and get him to a hospital. So, and it's something that I found so very remarkable. I'll make sure I bring this back up here. Is I think right after the event happened, and I was sitting there, I was hearing about this, and going back. I was up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, couldn't really sleep, and then I realized, oh my goodness, this happened. And everyone that was on the Bills team, something I haven't seen in a very, very long time. And someone ended up losing their job because they kneeled. But everyone
Uh,
was
People.
praying.
Yeah.
Everyone was
Right.
praying. And I was very grateful to see this because, whether you are a believer or not, just good thoughts, prayers, just these things help. And I know that his family is accepting all of that love. The toy drive, I wanted you to mention that, Michael. This was something very shocking that he has a toy drive, and I think I was talking
Well,
to Coach,
well, I mean,
yeah, about it.
NFL players are. I mean, they are generous to a fault, and
Hmm.
it's just the appreciation that they know that they are among the most elite athletes in the world, and just to
Hmm.
be in that stage for however long it is, if it's for half a season, or
Hmm.
several. I mean, these are people who are, just amazing, really, in lots of ways. So one of the things that kind of I saw from this is how the NFL, the NFLPA, coaches and the players, and you showed it there in that picture, form that ring around him. And that ring is not just prayer. Of course, that is critical here, but it's
Hmm.
also to protect his privacy. That they were working on him, Val.
Hmm.
That this is a person who was in need, and this isn't something that they would want to have pictures of this out there. I know somebody probably does, but they wanted to kind of show that sense of family there.
Yeah.
And and
And I
and he has shown that to the Buffalo community. I mean, Buffalo, my goodness, Val, the voice. Buffalo's been going through it for the last year.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
have, but
between the shooting,
mhm,
between the snow
mhm,
fall that people lost their lives in, that blizzard, and
yeah,
now so you had this young man. He started a toy drive in
right.
Buffalo. Modest goal, hope to raise $2,500 for kids in need for toys over the holiday season. But people have taken to that. And some of his fellow teammates have been on TV in the last 24 hours wearing hats and kind of talking about it. At this moment, that charity has raised more than $5 million,
Mhm, mhm,
and this is gonna go in the best use possible. We hope the fan base is called the Mafia Buffalo, the Bills Mafia, and they are among the more enthusiastic fan bases in NFL football, and they certainly have rallied to him. Fans in Cincinnati have been going out to the hospital, so forming prayer circles, doing things in and around the hospital, around the stadium. And
mhm,
it's really has been one of these opportunities where people have shown the best of themselves. You know,
right. And
you're thinking
with
about life and really, the value of life.
right. So So we're gonna bring Coach on, and we'll talk about this just a little bit later because I want to make sure that we get to two other things before we go back into talking about Hamlin. So we're praying for his health and his recovery. But like Congress, honestly, seriously, what's going on is Brooklyn in the house.
Brooklyn's in the house without a doubt, right?
Oh, that's right. The Bronx in the house. You know, a lot of our folks listen in from Brooklyn as well as New York.
Kevin, right?
Kevin and also
Representing.
Jimmy. Jimmy's in there as well.
Jimmy's
So
in there, Brooklyn, Brooklyn. Well, Brooklyn not only is in the house, they nearly took over the house earlier today. I mean, the House of Representatives in the U.S. Congress. So you had what was supposed to be just these so-called ceremonial things. I don't know about like I don't know why we can't get these ceremonial things right. Okay,
what do
it's
you
supposed
mean
to
by
be
that?
easy. So the representatives of the U.S. House, they've been voted in. They are in. We're in almost a two-party, you know, system, which is another topic for another time. But Democrats and Republicans. So you should be able to count how many Democrats there are and how many Republicans in the party with the most people. They get to pick the Speaker of the House. Okay. So the Republicans walked in with the most people. And a guy that said, I want to be Speaker of the House. He had been their minority leader for years,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So he's just supposed to come up there. They nominate him, they vote him in. Real simple, right?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Because the party in the minority is the Democrats, and their leader is Representative Brooklyn's own Hakeem Jeffries.
Hey,
So he
Hakeem.
comes in there. Yeah. Hey, that your rep?
No, he wasn't, but I did meet him a couple of years ago when he
Of
came to
course you
visit.
did. Let me catch all these names. I drop a name. Val drops the name and I pick it up because she just name dropping. So you met Hakeem.
Hakeem was very gracious and very nice, and he came to visit at the place I used to work at, the non for profit, and was literally just kind of doing a talk about the importance of voting, and then kind of some other things that was happening in New York, in Brooklyn. He was not my rep. I was in a different section of Brooklyn. I forget what sections of Brooklyn that he definitely represents, but a real down to earth and very approachable. And so I was kind of thinking, oh wow, they're gonna nominate him. This will be great.
And they did nominate him.
Yeah,
And
and
one, two, three times he received the majority of the votes of the members of the House of Representatives.
okay,
Now, going deep, not too deep in the civics, because we ain't here for that. But I do want to let you know it was history. It was
okay.
history to have
Hmm.
an African American, male or female, be nominated and by vote pretty much, he was should be Speaker of the House. Now that's not going to happen.
Should be. So what's
Right, but
wrong?
that's
What's the
not.
hiccup?
Well, because the Republicans are in charge. They're more Republicans. But they're the gang that can't shoot straight. So they're busy like backstabbing each other
Oh
and they
wow.
can't get it together. So Hakeem Jeffries wins on 3 votes. They put it into what's called adjournment. So they got to work these phones tonight, come back tomorrow, and
Okay.
try all over again. Now, here's the part that's important
Okay.
because all of this kind of sounds like another kind of form of sport, and
Okay.
it's politics, and it does affect our lives. Until Val the Voice, until they can figure out who is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Congress can't do anything.
Seriously?
They can't swear people in. They can't take a vote on Jack. They can't do nothing. They can't receive things from the Senate. So our government is at a shutdown because Kevin McCarthy, representative from California, can't count votes or can't do politics well enough to get elected. And so because of that, the whole US government pretty much is at a standstill in theory tonight.
Wow. So I
Now, what
wonder.
they
I
could
wonder.
do is just like, a couple of those Republicans could slide over to Hakeem and we could like get busy. We could get started. We could put a brother in the house. We had a brother in the White House. Let's put one in the U.S. House of Representatives as the leader.
So Mark thinks that he's Jeffries is a presidential candidate, and he said that he also met him
Oh, he
last
looked
year
like
at a
it.
out
Oh,
of
so
Raleigh.
he meets the important people. I see he met Mark Lee and he met Val Voice. So he just meeting important people. I get it. I
Oh,
get it.
this is your boy here greeting us. Garden
Yeah,
Smoky
Happy New
server.
Year.
Happy New Year to you.
And Happy New Year to Brooklyn, right?
That's right.
Man,
That's what's
Brooklyn,
up.
New York. Wow. So just to let you all know, if you wonder why how our government works, that's how it works. Not very well. Okay. They should have just easily started today, but because of
Mhm.
that, they're gonna have, another vote tomorrow. Maybe that'll work. If it won't, then it goes to Friday. But until they can get it together, nothing happens.
Yeah. So that's what's happening, and that's what we're gonna do is just oh good gracious. Yeah, it's just it's a shame that it's happening like that. And all we have to do is just keep our ears to the grindstone and see what changes will happen. Because I think the Republicans are very upset that they did not win as many seats as they wanted to in both uh,
Absolutely.
the House as well as the Senate. So this is kind of, I want to say, a kickback or a pushback,
Well,
and
I
all the
mean,
rest of
I
that.
wish we could push back to a time when government worked and things were happy and the music was kicking and the movies were out. Of course, I'm talking about the 1990s. The
Oh,
90s, that was the
okay.
time when things was nice. At least I liked it. I liked it a heck of a lot. In fact, so much,
Hmm.
it's not just me. It seems like TV loves the 90s too, Val.
Yeah, yeah. We were chit chatting about, and we I wanted to just briefly talk about one of the '90s movies that came back. We It was loved so much that it was said, "Hey, let's go ahead and make it a series. Let's not just do another movie. Let's make it into an all-time series." And I was all excited to see, "Oh my goodness, we're going to see The Best Man be a series. We're going to
I
see Bel
agree.
Air as a series." So it's like a major thing. So I'm sitting up here trying to cue this thing up, but yeah, but the '90s have come back
Stronger than ever.
strong in our current culture here. And
Rerun.
I watched the 8 episodes. What about you, Michael? Because I did.
The
I
8
watched them.
episodes, The Best Man, the final
Hmm.
chapter, a chapter that
Hmm.
started back in 1999. It has the best of the stars of the 90s there.
Hmm.
Nia Long. It's got Tay Diggs there. Morris Chestnut. My goodness, man, to all the way back to Boys in the Hood, right? So
Right.
I saw the 8 episodes.
Hmm.
I was not a big fan of this as an episodic TV show. There were some
Hmm.
things that were really interesting,
Hmm.
but I really liked the first 2 episodes, which tells us probably it was intended to be a movie and got stretched out. Because as a
Yeah.
movie, it really was dynamic and wonderful and exciting to watch. And then it seemed like afterwards they had some extra time. I mean, I don't know, right? Like,
Well,
let's keep it
you know
going.
what? You know what? I'm gonna say this. I was really happy with how they developed the other storylines. And yes, if you guys have seen The Best Man, the limited series, it is currently streaming on Peacock. Go ahead and put it in the chat. But as we wrap up our time here, it we're going to be talking about the '90s. We're going to be talking about this series as well as some of the things that we loved from the '90s and on our audio podcast tomorrow. We love the '90s,
We
but definitely
love the
we
90s.
love the '90s. But if you got a chance to see it, I see Kevin said he enjoyed it. I actually watched the series twice and made notes. What I will say, Robert Glasper, he did the music for this series, and it matched the tonality of what was set up in both the films Best Man that came out in '99 and
For
the
sure.
Best Man Holiday. So it moved me. I love the matchup between Terrence Howard and Melissa DeSoto, playing Spivey and Shelby, and then of course Sanaa Lathan and Taye Diggs. Good gracious, what are we up to? Like, I don't know, 5 or 6 films that they've been in collectively. And then Malcolm Lee, who's in this shot, was the executive producer. Wasn't it fun to see Robert Townsend's name pop up as director? Wasn't
Oh,
that cool?
absolutely. Love Robert Townsend. That
Mm-hmm.
takes you back to his roots in Chicago, and that crazy story of him driving cross country with Keenan Ivory Wayans to make a
Exactly.
little movie called The Hollywood Shuffle. And
Right,
they did
exactly.
well with that one.
Exactly. But what we're gonna do right now is it's time to bring in our guy. Tony, are you ready? Here we go.
Oh
Yay!
man, that
It's
bass in the
Tony.
headphones is nice.
Hey,
That
that bass,
bass is like
hey,
boom.
boom, hey, drop that beat. Hey, Mike, I'm about to take you back, Mike, because you should have said from the 90s, MC Light, play this one for me and my DJ.
DJ Rock, K Rock, can I get a
Right,
scratch?
Wasn't that? Yeah, I
exactly.
know. And you know what? You got a fan in the
Enough
audience.
time.
Coach G is like, Coach
Get the
Tony
rhyme
is
out the
in the
See, what's
bag.
building.
up, baby? Happy New
Yo.
Year. Happy New Year's, everybody. I didn't get an opportunity to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year's. Nothing but a prosperous year. And you about to see Interludes take off. Hit that subscribe button. Don't meet me there. Beat us there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
Hey,
absolutely. Well,
Mike. Hey,
Yes,
Mike.
sir. Yes,
I,
sir.
I got to correct one thing that you were talking about so we can keep the fans on the same level.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we were talking about brother DeMar Hamlin and bless his heart. And Val, we could have packed the show. I'm actually trying to get my cousin, the doctor, on here so we could have a doctor's perspective along with obviously the guests we got. But Mike, he's not doing the toy drive in Buffalo. He's from Curse, Pennsylvania. So
There
he
we
oh,
set
go.
up
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
he,
coach.
he set up the toy drive back home because he's a
Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh boy, went to University of Pittsburgh, and he wanted to make sure that he kept it real for his home community and let them know that even though he went to Buffalo, he still wanted to let Curtis, PA, know where he was from. He always, like me and you, always representing the Chi. He represented Curtis, PA, man. So that toy drive was set up for the kids back in Curtis, PA, so they give them the opportunity to have some toys and some opportunity to have some fun, things like that.
Thank you, coach. Appreciate that. Thank you for that correction. That's important. So that makes it even more special because you know that this outpouring is from his team, is from the fans of Buffalo who are looked at this thing. It's like, oh, he had a toy shop? Bam, hitting that. That those kids will be taken care of, hopefully. I mean, this is just the love that you see, and I think that at times, as fans, somebody that's never played the game, just only watched it, we look at it and we cheer, and then when they do something great, we're happy. When they don't, we're on them. And some folks take it too far. They go online, they say nonsense, they type nonsense, they spew nonsense, and we've seen some of that in the last 24 hours. We're going to avoid that ignorance, but there's a bunch of ignorant people that shouldn't be back on TV. For the time being, for some of the things they have said. So this outpouring is amazing, and it's something that I think has to be a source of inspiration. Yeah. Oh, that number is for surpassed 4.5. It's going close to 5. It just keeps ticking up and up. So
And the crazy part about it, Mike, is that I don't know if a lot of people know, and Val, I don't know if you knew this, but he actually started this toy drive before he got drafted. So he knew that his future was going to lie in NFL. And he started this toy drive before he was drafted and while he was in school at Pittsburgh playing and working at basically, whatever work he get in the summertime. And he just wanted to give back. Whether he became a professional athlete or worked in an average world every day, he was going to give back to this community because he had the opportunity at least to get from high school, Mike, to college. And when he got to the pros, the work ethic became, kid started 14 games, subbed as a rookie, started 14 games in his career, and was on his way to push the starting, person in front of him for a starting position. So, and you just hit it on the head. A lot of people were sending in erroneous emails, crazy text messages about the NFL and this and that, but they got it right. NFL got it right. They stopped the game. They'll sit down, made the phone calls to make sure everything was okay, to see where we were at. Because once again, it could have been a situation where another just terrible injury and we need to start play. So they got it right. But the one thing that amazed me was the cardiac arrest that he had. And speaking with, people in my space who are in the medical field, there's only about 60 cases out of the country. 60. So the chances of getting this is like you winning a $750 million lottery, slim to none. And if you think about it, the way it was described to me, Val and Mike, if you got a beanbag, so you know how you hit a beanbag in the middle and it depressed and then the beans go out to the side. The way that he made that tackle in a situation where you have to hit the heart in a specific area, the blood then flowed outward into the veins. So you basically, when he hit the ground, you basically got about 10 minutes to get air back in. If not, he'd have been brain dead. So the medical professors that were able to come on the field and to give him CPR and AZ and put it in, they were amazing because they were able to stop a situation that today we may not even have this conversation because the brother may not even be with us. You know what I mean?
So and really we have perspective here. I mean, you're giving us a lot of great information, Coach Tony. We certainly appreciate that. But we have the opportunity to get some expert experience, somebody that has gone through and knows what it's like to play at that level and knows what it's like to coach the game. So we want to bring him on now. We bringing it back by popular demand.
Bring it back. What I say with
You
a
got
barrel in
Coach Mark May. All right.
Yay. Thanks for
Hey
coming,
Mark.
Mark.
Hey Mark. I know you with us, baby, but I know on Sunday you wasn't feeling good with Aaron Rodgers sitting up in there,
No,
were
leave
you?
the man alone. Give him a break. Let's
Here we
bring him
go.
in. We'll ease it in. We'll ease it in. We don't have to talk about Kirk Cousins yet. We can leave Kirk Cousins alone for the day.
Sunday.
What's up, brother Mark? Happy New Year to you, my brother.
Happy New Year. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, his birthday is on the 1st, guys. I just found that out talking with him. So let's wish
New
him a
Year's
happy
Eve,
birthday.
yeah. It's
Hey, drinks to you.
All right. 67 times around.
There you go, baby.
Wow.
So Mark, looking at I got a chance to hear RC, got a chance to hear Dove, got a chance to hear Troy Aikman last night.
Yeah.
Got a chance to hear a lot of the guys in NFL talk about it. You're sitting in that locker room and you understand about spending more time with your teammates than your family, especially from preseason, OTAs, then into the season and traveling. And when something like this happens to your brother on that field at that time in the situation, the question that I've got is that besides the people talking about if the NFL got it right, what's going through the average pro ball player's mind sitting on that sideline, especially the guys that are on the field when this situation happened?
You hate to see something like that happen. Part of it is kind of a weird thing. For the athletes, you have this air of invincibility where you really don't want to think about all of the, traumatic possibilities that can happen. When you look at it, football is an extremely violent sport. and bad things can happen. But when you go into it, you don't really want to think about it. And something like this that happens, it kind of brings it to you. For me, in 1978, just out of college, I was playing some semi-pro ball, and I'm playing up in Delavan, Wisconsin, and I got punched in the stomach, and I said, "Okay, this is really just some stupid stuff." And then when I come home, I read in the paper that Sunday that Daryl Stingley had been paralyzed.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember that.
The connection with Daryl is his older brother was one of the coaches on our team that year.
Oh, wow.
At that point, I said, do I really want to continue doing this if this is a possible outcome?
Mm-hmm.
And, you take a look at it, and for me, you can call me crazy or whatever. Um, for me, the risk is that I've been rewarded by so much, and so much of what I am now and what I was able to accomplish, not just in a professional level, but in a personal level, is due to confidence I got from football. So, given all that has happened, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it all over again. And I had an experience in 1989, where I got my sternum fractured. So I was hit with in the same place that DeMar got hit, while being hit from behind. So the guy that hit me from behind pushed me into the guy that speared me from the front. They didn't have spearing and targeting back then.
Right.
And I guess I did get hit hard enough to fracture the sternum, which is the hardest bone in your body because it protects the heart. But I didn't get hit at the right time where it would have stopped my heart. Because if that had happened back then I would have bought the farm.
Well, we're certainly happy that didn't happen. And you mentioned the Stingley, just so because there are people that probably don't know about this.
Right. Don't know what Daryl Stingley was.
Yeah,
Right.
so that was August 12th, 1978. He was playing for the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patriots, and he got hit by a person that is known to give hits in Tatum. And Tatum hit him.
And George Atkinson, the other safety in Oakland, they used to have bets as to who can knock out the most players in a season.
I heard that they used to actually have not only bets that, if I'm right, Mark, back in the time, that Roselle was paying those guys at the time.
No.
But that's allegedly.
But Coach May, but let's bring it back to coaching for a second, and kind of the way you approach the game, which I know is different than the way other people approach the game. There was a coach in the NFL. I'll leave his name out of it.
Greg,
coach for the New Orleans Saints.
Greg,
and some other people. Go ahead.
Yeah, Greg Williams. He had bounties on players. Yeah, he did.
He did actually have bounties on
players. He's a douchebag.
Yeah, bounties, Val.
Coach. No, I'm sorry, Coach. I need someone to explain that to me. What is a bounty? That sounds dangerous.
Okay, he would say that if you knock this guy out the game,
oh my gosh,
he will pay you.
Right.
Now, he got suspended for that. The league suspended him. They fined him. However, Coach May, he snuck back in the league, right?
Well, he didn't sneak back in. He was suspended, and he served his suspension.
And he came back and got a promotion with another team. He got put on another team.
Well, he didn't get a promotion. He was a defensive coordinator, and the only higher up than defensive coordinator would be head coach. And he's coach.
Coach May, Coach, I have a quick question, and this is an innocent question because I'm still learning the game. A safety, that is what young man was, and that's what he is with the Buffalo Bills. What is his role And why did he get hit so hard?
But he didn't get hit. He
Okay.
delivered the hit.
Hold on.
Okay.
Now, because of the whole concussion thing,
Mhm.
defensive players are really dinged when they lower and hit first contact with their helmet.
Right.
They will get fined. They may get kicked out the game.
Okay.
And so now defensive players know that even if it's accident, I go down with my head and the offensive player lowers his head and hits me, I get blamed.
Right.
And so he came head up, which he shouldn't have done, because he doesn't get hit in the chest. He doesn't possibly get the heart attack if he had bent his knees and tried to target the guy lower. But targeting the guy lower, the way that the NFL is now about, trying to stop defensive players from, hurting quarterbacks and defenseless receivers. I wish they had done that back when I was playing.
Right. Right.
The guys are saying, I don't know what I can do. So if I go head up like this and I get hit in the chest, because there is no protection for the defensive player if they get hit helmet first by the offensive player.
Yeah, hopefully you can just wrap them up. Hopefully you can wrap them up.
Well, there's some film on video on the internet from Pete Carroll talking about, and this is what we teach at the youth level a lot,
Mhm.
the hawk tackling, rugby tackling by Pete Carroll, and it's about keeping your head out of the tackle. You're supposed to bend the knees. There's a strike zone, which is similar to a baseball strike zone, just below the armpits and above the knee. And that's where you're supposed to target to tackle the guy. Unfortunately, sometimes the offensive players will dip down lower, so you can be targeting from their waist, but if they dip down lower and you hit them in the head, then you get the FedEx letter the next day.
Which happened in the college football game, right? In the TCU Michigan game, pretty much the last play of the game. The game was pretty much over, and the offensive running back lowered his head on that tackle. Now, the question I got for you is a pretty tough question here that, speaks into my game. I am the beneficiary of the football players, right, leaking over into basketball. And thus, basketball is growing by leaps and bounds. Now, the second largest sport behind soccer. And having said that, and you just mentioned, Coach Mark, how are you guys being able to translate what happened last night into the youth in the high school teaching and training? And how are you able to answer some of these parents' questions about the game is still safe for my child to play it? Because you and I know that mamas make the decisions. And if mama say you ain't playing, you ain't playing.
That's right.
Yeah, well, we got to recruit the moms.
Right.
One of the things that I try to get my kids to do is to stop trying to tackle high where you can sling the guy down. One, it's not efficient. Two, you usually throw the guy into the end zone for a touchdown or throw him forward for a first down, so that's not good. So what you want them to do is, I advise people to watch Pete Carroll's rugby tackling, because they've been tackling in rugby forever, and I think that they have the injuries that you have in the NFL because they don't use their head in the tackle.
And they don't use pads.
And they don't use pads. And they don't use heads. And they don't have, broken backs and stuff like that, because you're not using your head as a battering ram. The good thing about football is they made the helmets really as a protective gear to keep you from breaking your skull, which they used to do a whole lot back in the early 1900s. However, players started using the helmet as a weapon, which gets us to where we are today.
Sure.
My kids, you're supposed to have your face up You may break your nose, but you can walk around with a broken nose. You can't walk around with a broken spine.
Right.
Or
So,
sternum.
so we looked at the. I wanted just to ask and just to kind of reassure to pick up on what Coach Tony said. For these football games, you're talking about recruiting the moms and recruiting the families. Anytime I've ever seen a football game, high school level, college level, everybody's there for that game, Coach May, right? I mean, there is a certainly people are on notice. Trainers are on notice. Medical physicians are on notice. Coaches have training. Tell us
I
about that.
when I coached at St. Lawrence, we had a ambulance at the stadium every game.
Absolutely.
The great thing about the NFL is they've got not only the ambulance on site, they've also got a defibrillator on site.
Right.
And that we have a defibrillator actually. And they have 25, doctors on the sidelines
Wow.
to handle any traumatic occurrence. So if it's going to happen, if it happens at an NFL game, you've got your best chance. And
That's amazing.
even at the youth games, like I've gone to Chicago Park District games, and it is mandatory just for the regular season games to have an ambulance on site. So I've gone to Drake Park, where just in the hood, watch youth league games, there's an ambulance there.
Right.
In Bloom Park, over in Inglewood, ambulance at the game. And so you can't eliminate it, but you can do best practices to be as safe as you can possibly be.
Well, so Coach Matt, so over the last few years in the football practices, they have changed practices where now you guys are tackling dummies, right? A lot of robotic, I'm here in Tennessee where a lot of practices don't happen in full contact. They happen with robots, they happen with dummies on the field. Do you think that because of that situation, and then the kids or the professionals or the college guys get into a real live game situation where now they've got an actual live person coming at them, running at them with full force? Now you got to hit it. Do you think that has changed a lot of the games and it's also increased the injuries?
No, guys are just bigger and faster now. I know that what Bobby Howard, one of our coaches at St. Lawrence, who played at Notre Dame, he's if you watch the 30 for 30 with about Oz,
I know Bobby Howard.
One of these boyhood friends, and you'll see Bobby in there. He would have us go through the tackling. He would have his guys go through the tackling drill without helmets to make sure that they did not use their helmets. And it's all about developing the right form and technique. And that's, you can use dummies and like that for form and technique. And I've kicked kids out of practice who refuse to not tackle with their head.
Wow.
I said, you're going to tackle with your head. I'm not going to have you do that because I don't want to make that phone call.
Sure. Oh, wow. And that's a tough phone call. And you rather kick a kid out of practice on a disciplinary situation than, like you said, to make that phone call, and now you're handling something even more traumatic.
If I told the kid, if you wish to do it that way, then you're not going to do it for me.
Oh yeah. Today ESPN talked about today, besides, as you said, mentioned about the players are getting bigger, stronger, and faster. It goes back to something that Mike was talking about a moment ago in recruiting the parents and stuff like that. I'm like you. I sit in plenty houses. I talk to plenty parents. I'm talking about, I got one today. I just got my LOI today. I got to go sit in a house this week, coach, and sign an LOI coming up before the end of the week with 2 scholarships left. And but as Mike was saying a moment ago, recruiting that parent and getting that parent on board. What are some of the things that you talk about how your program at St. Lawrence is totally different.
I'm at De La Salle now.
I'm sorry, South. So you're looking at that, and now that's perfect because you still got the Catholic League. So something that differentiates. I'm going to sit down in Val's house, and I'm recruiting her child, and I'm looking at the difference between her sending her son to St. Lawrence and sending her son to LaSalle down 35th. What are some of the things as a coach and your coaching staff that you can assure her as a parent that this kid is going to be one safe? Because once again, we know Hamlin's situation was one of only 60 situations in the country. So that's like winning the lottery. We don't know when that's going to occur. But what are you doing at LaSalle that's different than a different program in the city of Chicago to ensure that?
I can't speak on what they're doing, over here in Woodlawn at Carmel or St. Rita or whatever. I assume that, some of the coaches that I know that are good guys, what you have to sell to the parent is that what your interest is what is in the best interest of the kid. And that I'm going to look out for your child's well-being as if they were my own child. So I'm not going to ask them to do something for the sake of a victory, because I've held kids out that had a bad back, and his dad said, I'll sign off for him to play. And I say, no, the doctor said off. He's not. Because I don't need that win.
Right.
If it's going to hurt the child in the long run. And along with the physical portion, there's the academic portion, that this is what I sell when I go out and recruit, that I am going to marshal your child through this stage in his life to get him to be a better person, a better player, a better student.
Right.
And I still hear from a bunch of my former players' parents and stuff, sending me well wishes, certainly on my birthday. I went down to the Purdue game with one of the parents of one of my former players.
Oh, good.
It's just being genuine and letting the parent know that the child's well-being is your ultimate. Winning a state championship is nice, but as high school coaches, youth coaches, we're molding individuals, and it's about developing the kids into be decent people. Football and basketball is just the distraction in which we life lessons. And I sell the parents on that, and so they trust us, they trust me, and that I'm going to have their child's best interests at heart.
Well, speaking of going, you said you went to a bowl game. I know that Coach Tony, you went to a bowl game as well, just this past week, right?
I went to the oranges of the oranges bowl that you can have, baby. I mean, can't get no more orange than that, Mike. I'm talking about tangerines, oranges, Sunkiss. We talking about orange crush. We talking about oranges.
Coach Tony, where's Coach at?
Right. I got a chance to sit, Mark. I got a chance to go down to Miami this weekend, baby, and see the University of Tennessee play Clemson, and Tennessee put it on. But there is one thing that I don't know if you guys caught it, because I'm getting slammed. Matter of fact, I got anywhere from 10 to 15 calls to ask me to mention this tonight on my podcast. They're like, I'm going to watch. But there was a mistake from ESPN.
Oh, no.
That put Peyton Manning up and said before the game was over, this is like late middle third quarter, said, oh, Peyton Manning's in the house, the national champion from the 1998 UT ball team.
Oh, no.
And that was wrong because that was T. Martin, the black quarterback.
T. Martin.
Peyton never won a championship
Never.
at Tennessee. It was the brother, T. Martin, who did it. And the crazy part about it, we are a few days to a week removed from that game, and ESPN has still not apologized.
What?
Not
What's
yet.
going on with that?
No, that was definitely not Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning could only take that. T. Martin had a remarkable season that year. I remember that.
You know, being away from Peyton. Peyton was a great player at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
At championship.
Yeah, but he ain't win no championship. I mean, they took the next level.
He went no we ain't even talking about the car. And that picture right there, that stadium is ridiculous. You know, that's Hard Rock Stadium, and it was packed to capacity. All you gotta do is wear orange that night. I had on a black. I'm not a UT guy, but I slid up in there. You know what I'm saying?
Bank up in Minnesota. It is amazing. And I think SoFi out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, SoFi is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And that's where the championship game at, Val, next Monday. So you're going to see, and Coach, I don't know who you had, but, you know, of course, the team that scores points. But for promotional purposes only.
Here we go.
Promotional purposes only.
Here we go.
The Big Ten let me down for promotional purposes. But you know what I like? TCU was a plus 900 at the beginning of the year. So for some promotional dollars, I could have came up about 100 stacks. But at TCU, what I liked about them, they talked to the coach. And I love what he said. He told him, and I'm sure you got this in the Catholic League with your guys. Mm-hmm. They were underdogs. Not supposed to win, not supposed to be there, not supposed to be in the game, and supposed to have been blown out. And he said he just simply told him, when I heard this, I go crazy because I remember telling my kids back in 2005, 2011, when I won a national championship, shock the world, surprise yourself. Meaning the world don't see you winning this game. So if you win this game, you automatically shock the world. But more importantly, you'll surprise yourself because some of the guys probably didn't think they could do it. But TCU came out and they hit Michigan in the mouth like Buster Douglas did Mike Tyson. They kept hitting.
And Michael, you are muted, so we really can't hear anything you're saying at this moment. So
there's a big number there for promotional purposes only, Coach Tony. TCU was quite an underdog. Quite an underdog. Do you like that?
Well, I do for one reason, and it's that it's like, and Mark, I don't mean to throw you on the bus, Mark, but if I got De La Salle and Mount Carmel, this is back in the day. I'm taking Mount Carmel back in the day, right? Okay. Even though I know De La Salle gonna come to play ball, but back in the day, we knew that the Catholic League.
Do they have Donovan McNabb? I mean, I take them too. They had Donovan McNabb. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Because we know that two teams coming out the city was going to probably be Brother Rice and Mount Carmel. I know that. I know that.
Saying no.
I know that. That's like me giving. Hey, Mark. That's like me giving Simeon a thumbs up. Ain't trying to do that on Vince End. We got the Vince End right.
Wow.
But I'm talking about back in the day.
Coach. Under the butts. Okay.
So TCU right now is going into this national championship game on Monday, a plus 14 against Georgia. Ohio State had them, but I think Georgia will wake up. And I love TCU, but they won't win this national championship game. Georgia.
Yeah, but Coach, again, Coach.
Both coaches?
For promotional purposes only.
Here we go.
That's a big number. That's a big number, isn't it?
Oh, it's a big number, but I think Georgia got woken up by Ohio State. And I think when Ohio State had them on the ropes, right? And you go back to there's a beautiful move when Kirby called that timeout when the kicker missed in the first field goal he kicked. He almost made it, just came up a little short, lined up great. Then he re-tees it up and he kicks it hard to the left. So Ohio State and CJ was killing him. You know, and he made exposure. But if TCU can come out and run that ball the way they ran that ball,
if Marvin Harrison Jr. don't get hurt, then Ohio State
yes.
blows.
If Harrison Jr.
Yes,
don't get
thank
hurt,
you.
it's a blowout.
Thank you. Okay,
It's a blowout.
thank you.
No, blowout.
Yeah, that's a different game. It's a different game.
Big different game. But now you got a TCU coming from the Big 12. I love the Big 12, but they in the SEC. And I think that you'll see Georgia, for promotional purposes only, become only the second team since Alabama in 2012 to go back to back.
Coach May, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to pull for Georgia because one of my guys that I coached at St. Lawrence, cousin, plays for Georgia. So I got So I'm going to go with fam.
And they loaded.
And Coach May, since we have you here, and I know we've been talking strictly college, I know you've been keeping up with NFL. Who do you see as the top teams going toward the Super Bowl?
Oh,
okay. I've decided that if my guys go to the Super Bowl, then I'm gonna finally go to a Super Bowl. Otherwise, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, wait, your guys. And just to clarify, your guys are
Oh.
Skull Vikings. Let's win the games.
Hey, Mike, I'm with you, Mike. That ain't gonna happen, Coach. I love you, Coach. I'm gonna have drink up.
Coach May, is there a new quarterback coming in to relieve Kirk Cousins? Because he needs a reliever quarterback, just like a pitcher needs a reliever. He needs a reliever.
And Mike,
hey, Mike, you warming up in the dugout? Who warming up in the dugout, Coach Mark? Somebody got to be in the dugout.
Somebody's got to come in.
Somebody got to be in the dugout.
With you on that because Kirk Cousins can be Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Until I found out that earlier this season, before the Cowboys game, he had gone 39 games straight at throwing at least one touchdown. That's over 4 seasons.
Wow.
Great. Throwing at least one touchdown in a game. And
he had a great first half of the year.
Correct.
But
the defense let you down. But in the NFC, nobody's coming out of the NFC in front of Jalen Hunt. Them Eagles is coming out of the NFC.
Look, Jalen Hurts still hurts. And until Jalen Hurts gets back hurting.
He's back. He's back. They just set him down. He was already 80%.
Okay,
he'll be back for the play.
I don't believe that. Here's why I don't believe that. And Coach May could probably back me up on this. You don't sit your best player like that for no reason. So Coach Tony, you're telling me that the Eagles didn't want to be the number 1 seed? They wanted to put that at risk?
But Jalen is not 100%. So
no,
right.
He's not. He's not.
They say he's about 80%. But to answer your question, Mike,
they had cushion, so they could
right. I will set my quarterback because I know for a fact whether I lose the next 1 or 2 games, I'm in the playoffs. It ain't gonna hurt me. Yeah. It ain't hurting me. That's what the NBA is getting slammed for because these people are buying $50, $60, $100, $200, $300, $400 tickets to see LeBron or Anthony Davis, and they get them on the sideline chip.
Hey, well, you know what? For a cool $32, you could sit in the end zone and watch the Bears in their last home game this year. I checked. $32. That's how much it costs you to see Fields play for a quarter, probably.
And Mike, I had somebody last week that was at the bowl game was trying to get the tickets away last Sunday for free to the Detroit Lions, and they couldn't even get the tickets away.
Nah, no, thank you.
Okay, all right. So this is going south really quick. Coach, we'll let you have the last word, Coach May.
Yeah, they need to let Justin get his 63 yards. So
yes,
right
by a quarterback, and
yes,
then down.
Yes,
so first run
and get him somebody, get him some help.
Yeah, Coach May, I can't wait till the Bears get a beautiful stadium like the Minnesota Vikings have. And as soon as we pry Kevin away from the Big Ten, we'll get it. We pry him away, and he'll build a nice thing like he built for the Vikings, for your Vikings. So it'll be great. And then we'll actually have some competition in NFC North because they haven't been.
Coach May, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna go extend on Valerie's question. Give me the 2 teams you see in the Super Bowl.
Ooh. It's a toss-up in the AFC between Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati.
Now, draw a hard line. I want one of them. Yeah, I don't want no toss-ups. Give me one of them.
NFC. Who's the NFC? NFC champion is.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo in the AFC.
AFC
Okay.
Buffalo.
And NFC, I'm going with my Vikings.
Okay, Buffalo versus Vikings, and I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles coming from the NFC, and I'm going with on the AFC side of the house, Buffalo Bills. Exactly.
Now,
however,
and then Michael, what about your prediction? Michael, your prediction?
It's the Montana Bowl all over again. It's gonna be KC coming out of the AFC and our San Francisco 49ers coming out of the NFC.
Now there's
49ers. Watch out for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Philadelphia. I forgot about KC. I totally forgot about KC.
Wait, Coach May, go ahead.
Yeah, Philadelphia's receiver coach is Emory Moorhead's kid.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And you know, Emory was a bad boy back in the day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw Emory over Christmas at the our Christmas party.
Right.
He said the son is a genius coach. He got JB Brown and Dante Smith. He became a genius.
Wow.
Wow.
That would be. That definitely would be.
Coach May, we want to thank you so very much for coming back through and chopping it up with our two sports.
No, just one sports expert. Just one.
And thank you so very much. Come back anytime, Coach. What was that, Coach May? Well, I missed it. What did you say, Coach May?
I said I was telling Coach that we're gonna have to go off channel and we can put our money where our mouth is.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay,
so
that'll promotional purposes only. There you go.
For promotional purposes only. We don't want y'all out there on anybody. For promotional purposes only. Me and Coach May will have to talk about a box of cigars.
We'll let you know who wins that one. We'll let you know who
All
wins.
right. Thank you so much, Coach May. We'll see you. We'll see you, sir. Thank you.
Right.
And Coach Tony, thank you so much for sharing everything that you did in Miami. I was a little jealous. Weren't you jealous, Michael? You getting these texts from
Coach Tony he took his talents to South Beach.
Yeah.
That's
So
basketball people.
It's all good. It's all good.
South Beach, right?
Yeah, I had to go down on South Beach. The only thing I was mad about, Mike, the Miami Heat played Saturday, and I didn't get a chance. I really want to do a double up. I wanted to do the bowl, and Saturday I want to go to the Heat game, but got caught up on a couple other things. It was New Year's Eve, man, so it was good.
All right.
I mean, it's okay because the best NBA ball is being played in San Francisco, where the Warriors can't be beat at home.
Val, I think he got a scarlet fever, Val. We may have got to give him some medicine.
Warriors can't be beat at home.
And on that note, Coach Tony.
The best team is in Tennessee. Down with them Bristles. On that note, I love y'all, but you know my words. And I'm out.
He's out. There you go, Coach. Woohoo! Yeah.
Wow.
We got no time to do what the other stuff I want
to
do.
No, we ain't got to do no other stuff. We good. We done. Drop the mic.
But here's the thing that I want to know about is for tomorrow, you are going to be back with hashtag Interludes Extra presents Wamble Wednesday. What will Mr. Wamble be chatting about on tomorrow?
I'm going to talk about one of my favorite decades. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the 90s and talk about some things that haven't been brought up tonight and probably won't be in other places. Got a unique take on that, and I can't wait to share it with you tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. And I'm so glad that you're coming back because you were missed. People were asking, like, where's a hashtag Wamble Wednesdays? I'm like,
you can stop. My head is big enough. Look, it's that whole picture. Good Lord. Is it inflated? Is it about a needle? Maybe
oh my goodness.
A little air out there. All right. Well, Finding Your Voice is a podcast course for beginners. It begins Saturday the 7th. It continues Saturday the 14th, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central Time. It's a webinar. Course instructor is yours truly, Val the Voice Johnson. Find Your Voice, a podcasting course for beginners.
And Interludes, our audio show is back tomorrow. We'll be talking about the 90s, and you can stream that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as well as Google. And if you'd like to become a sponsor, go ahead and join us. You would like to be a sponsor on our platform, book time with us on linktr.ee
Book time, we
/Feel
working.
Like
We working
Media.
time.
And Interludes, we're streaming on YouTube, our Interludes Facebook group.
Come
Our
on, y'all.
Interludes,
Don't have me start my OnlyFans this year. Come on now.
and then also because of Mark Lee, thank you so very much. Interludes is on the Pod
You don't want
TV
to see my
Roku
feet.
channel. That's what's up. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to redo this. We are now 125 episodes.
That's right. That's right. Don't have me
Yeah.
go slip over to the dark side of OnlyFans. You don't want to see my toes. You don't want to see my feet. It ain't pretty.
Oh my gosh. And Michael, what's your name?
My name is not Val the Voice Johnson, but yours is, and this has been Interludes Extra. Talk on Tuesday with Val the Voice Johnson. 2023, the Jordan year.
Woo! We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you and good night.